Before the stories that we all know and cherish, the arrival of Aragorn to his throne, the destruction of Sauron and his One Ring, the defeat of Smaug the dragon, and even before the downfall of the original Dark Lord, Melkor, and the tale of the Silmarils, there was only one entity among the space of what was to be his universe. In the beginning, there was Eru Iluvatar, and he was all. In the timeless halls before creation, Iluvatar began to think. Through his thoughts, the Ainur came to be, and he taught them how to create music. The Ainur were the grandest spirits to exist in the Legendarium, and they were beings of great power that would become the Valar and the Maiar. At first, they only learned from him and from each other, by singing in small groups and observing the other groups and learning of their interpersonal existence. Eventually, Iluvatar brought the Ainur together and told them of a great composition that was to be made. It would be the grandest of all songs that were previously made, and they were allowed to put their own thoughts, visions, and free will into it. They were allowed to do this as Iluvatar created them with the flame imperishable, or the secret fire which commended true life and free will. Their Fear, or spirits, were the essences of this true life. The Ainur bowed to their lord at his description of the song that was to be. When they began, the song was a beautiful compilation of voices, some that sang like trumpets, and others like harps, and some like choirs. But before long, faults and great dissonance entered the song. This was Melkor's doing. Melkor was the greatest and most powerful of all of the Ainur, and he had wandered the void of space, and sought to find the flame imperishable on his own in order to create his own life under his dominion. But he failed in that task, as the flame imperishable was Iluvatar's power and gift, and his alone. The song became tumultuous, and was called to a stop by Iluvatar. He then reflected upon the song, and he smiled. After this reaction, the second song of the Ainur began. The second song was alike and unlike to the first song, and grew in beauty over time. But eventually, the discord rose again. This time it was far greater and more overpowering. As Melkor sang with more and more power, some of the Ainur stopped singing with dismay, but one who was to be known as Manwë, who, in Iluvatar's mind, was the brother of Melkor, countered this discord most, but eventually Melkor's music became the entire sound of the song. At this, Iluvatar rose from his seat and stopped the song. His face was stern in reaction this time, and then he rose his right hand to begin the next song immediately. This song had begun during the confusion of the second song, and this one was very unlike the others. It sounded like the rippling of soft and sweet notes, but grew louder and more powerful with time. In its depth, this song became two. One song with sorrow beyond measure and beauty, and the other was a loud song of splendor and repetition. One didn't overcome the other, and eventually the Song of Splendor wove the grandest notes of the Song of Sorrow into it. The strife and differences in the two themes caused a great shaking in the dwelling of Iluvatar and the void beyond. Quote, "One chord, deeper than the abyss, higher than the firmament, piercing as the light of the eye of Iluvatar. The music ceased." End quote. Iluvatar stood again, and afterwards he told the Ainur of the vastness of the music, and what would happen if discord were brought to it, as Melkor had done. He then gave the Ainur a vision of, quote, "a world that was globed amid the void, but was not of it." End quote. This world was to be known as Arda. This world would eventually house Valinor, Beleriand, and Middle-earth. The Ainur saw the history that would happen in this world unfold before them, and they witnessed what part each of them had played in its conception. Even Melkor had contributed to it, and even his deepest themes and perversions had all been a part of Iluvatar's master plan. In this vision, they saw the children of Iluvatar, who none of them had contributed to the song to create, but rather the children were a part of Iluvatar's plan to create. The Ainur became enamored with the earth, and bound to its fate. Even Melkor, who above all desired to rule over all of the other Ainur and the children of Iluvatar both. They also saw the seas and the waters that would be in Arda, and they became sure that the water would be a great factor of all life. They saw the light that filled Arda as well, and observed its majesty. It is said that they might have seen the history of Arda up until the dominion of men, but not afterwards. This could have happened as the free peoples, and men especially, have free will, and their destinies are not made before them. During the vision, Iluvatar named Ulmo, the Vala and Lord of the Waters, and he was named second after Melkor, as Iluvatar and Melkor had already had previous interactions already. Ulmo learns that none of Melkor's fires or snows that he could send would have an effect upon the seas. Iluvatar then names Manwë, the Vala and the Lord of the Winds and Airs. Ulmo and Manwë are thus named the chief servants of Eru Iluvatar. After they are named, the vision that all of the Ainur saw of Arda was abruptly brought to an end, and the world of Arda was set into motion. Eru Iluvatar sent the flame imperishable into the universe, and it is called Ea, meaning it is, or let it be, and it is the true realization of the first music of the Ainur. Iluvatar then sends many of the Fëanor, or flames imperishable, to Arda, where many lives of different folk would take place. Time began, and so did Middle-earth and all of Arda itself. 4 of the Valar are sent to Arda to make it ready for the children of Iluvatar in the time to come. When the Valar came to Arda, it was shapeless and uncrafted. It was but a barren plain ready to be worked upon. On this plain, Melkor, who was the most powerful of all of the Ainur and still was, claimed the world for himself. But the other Valar who were with him would not let it be. Thus, Melkor disrupted many efforts of the world's creation, and his assaults wore upon Manwë, Ulmo, and Aule, who were the other 3 Valar alongside him, tasked to create the world. After a time of struggling, Manwë calls the other Valar and Maiar, or the lesser of the Ainur, that were loyal to him, and together they drove off Melkor for a time. The other Valar recognized Manwë as their king, as he was compassionate, kind, and unconcerned for his own power, and it was he who best knew Iluvatar's vision for Arda. But this once again draws the ire of Melkor, and he returns to begin the first war inside time. His goal was to try to hinder the creation of the world and to fight against Manwë's throne. The first battles aren't recorded, but as Melkor tried to undo everything that the Valar did, it is seen that he cannot truly destroy or spoil their work, and the earth of our grand legendarium is made ready for the children of Iluvatar. The first music of the Ainur is the beginning, and possibly the end and renewal of Arda in the legendarium. The first 3 songs created the universe and the world, and throughout many years, Manwë, the king of the Valar, reflects upon the compositions, and learns from them different pieces that he did not notice at the time of its making when he was just one of the Ainur. And though none, while they were singing it, truly knew what they were doing or creating during the music, Eru Iluvatar directed them to create his vision, and eventually they would come to understand what they had done and created. This first music would set all into motion until Dagor Daggerath, if it were to ever happen. According to the second prophecy of Mandos, the final battle would be fought at the end of the world, when all peoples and Ainur of the universe would fight together. Manwë's forces against Melkor's, and after the death of the Vala Melkor by Turin's hand, and after the recovery of the Silmarils by Erendil, the world shall be renewed with the second music of the Ainur, where men too would participate alongside the Ainur in the creation of the next universe. This would be far after the time of men, and after the events of the Lord of the Rings, again, if it were to happen. Though I really like the idea of Dagor Daggerath, it was only a prophecy of Mandos, who was the doomsman of the Valar. And according to Christopher Tolkien himself, his father did away with this idea of this final battle and Dagor Daggerath, but the possibility of it still remains within our legendarium. So I'll leave that to you guys. What do you think? Would Dagor Daggerath happen, or would something else happen at the end of all time? Let me know in the comments below. But indeed, the music of the Ainur was the heart and the creation of the entirety of the universe, and it was the greatest of powers next to Eru Iluvatar himself. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this new kind of video. I've always wanted to cover some of the earlier history of Tolkien's Legendarium, and I think a video series dedicated to the history of Arda is the perfect way to do it. The information for this video comes from one of the newer copies of the Silmarillion, which I believe to be more canon than the earlier writings or the books of Lost Tales. The chapter in the Silmarillion in which the music of the Ainur takes place is named Ainu Lindale, which means the music of the Ainur. Indeed, in this version, Iluvatar was less open with his thoughts and goals for the song than in the other tales of the music of the Ainur. Let me know if you guys would like to see more of this series as we work our way through the earlier timelines in the Legendarium. A while ago, I was asked to do a timeline video of the Second Age, and I would like to actually do them through this series, if that works for you guys. The next part of this series will cover the two trees of Valinor, and all of the chaos that ensued with both Ungoliant and Melkor concerning the two trees. So let me know if you would all like to see that. I'll leave another poll on Facebook for next weekend's video, and a link to that and the Facebook page will be in the description below. Guys, we recently just passed 14,000 subscribers, and it makes me so happy that this community has formed like it has. When I began almost 3 years ago, I wasn't quite sure what to expect, or how far I would get, or really what I was doing exactly. But due to your great support and incredible, encouraging comments, I will continue to grow for you guys. You've turned one of my dreams into a reality, and I'll be forever thankful for that. From here, we will continue to grow as the Men of the West together, and I appreciate your continued support. Leave me a comment with your thoughts on this video, or with what you would like to see next, or even how I can improve, or anything in between. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, share this video with a friend who you think might like it, and subscribe to see my next videos on Tolkien's Legendarium. As always, thank you for joining me on this adventure. Until the next one, my friends.